One thing that I've noticed has become pretty normal these days is for parents to track their teenager's phone. And this is a luxury and a privilege that modern parents have that uh, parents of previous generations never, ever, ever, ever had. And I've noticed that it has become so normal. And so I wanted to weigh in on it. Most parents do this almost without questioning whether the veracity of it, the wisdom of it, the effectiveness of it. What is it that they intend to get? Now, when I ask parents, what is their intention behind just tracking their kid wherever they go, they usually just give me a pretty weak answer like, I just need to know where they're going. I need to know if they're telling me the truth about where they're going. I can understand tracking a kid's phone if they've previously gotten into some sort of trouble. I can understand tracking a kid's phone if they have a tendency to engage in high risk behaviors. I can understand tracking a kid's phone as maybe a short term consequence of breaking a rule or having behavior problems. I do not condone, in fact, I'm very much against tracking a kid's phone without a good reason. And here's why is so my therapy focuses a lot on parent-child relationships most of the time. When I work with a teen, I often pull the parent in. Happens a lot. And my approach has been for a very long time that the parents need to have a very good relationship with the kid. Now, I demonstrate this, I model this. The first thing I go after as a therapist is to have a good relationship with the kid. And if I can establish rapport with a kid, then I can move miles in short amounts of time. It's like putting a car in gear. If you don't have a relationship with with your teenager, it's like having your car in neutral. Most of the time, you hit the gas, you make a lot of noise, and you don't go anywhere. And a lot of parents that they end up their relationship with their kid goes like this. And a lot of parents tell me, well, my goal is for my kid to be safe and happy and successful and responsible. And I want those goals too. But what they don't understand is that if you have a good relationship with them, if you're really, really bonded and really tight with your teenager, you are far more likely to help them accomplish all of those things. It's like supercharging it. Again, you put it in, it's like putting a car into gear. That's when you really move. If you don't have that relationship, you're just not going to move. That's just the bottom line. Those are the facts. And so what I have found is that the parents who are tracking their kids' phone needlessly um, have a tendency to not have good relationships with their kids. The relationship does this. And it's one of those things, it's oil and water. You can either track your kid's phone or you can have a good relationship with them, but you can't have both. And this is, I've done another video on the worried parents. So make sure you go watch that one on worried parents. A lot of parents track phones just because they're worried. So make sure you go watch that video. Generally speaking, tracking your kid's phone generally will cost you far more than it actually gives you. The benefits that you get from it will be minuscule compared to what it actually costs you in the long run. And this, I hear things like this from parents where they'll say, well, I was tracking his or her phone. They told me they were going to their friend's house and they went to these other places and they lied to me. And so that's actually, in my world, a case of parents thinking about them before they're thinking about the kid. They feel betrayed. They feel personally disrespected because the kid said, I'm going over to my friend's house, and then they ended up McDonald's. Think about, I mean, really stop and think. Do you remember what it was like to be a teenager? Because I remember going to a friend's house and we were just hanging out. Maybe we were listening to music, playing video games, who knows, whatever, right? Maybe shooting hoops in the driveway. Whatever, it doesn't matter. A couple other friends show up and someone says, I'm hungry, let's go to McDonald's. And we're like, okay, let's go. We all pile in a car and we all go to McDonald's. And then while we're at McDonald's, someone says, hey, while we're out, let's stop at the music store. And we're like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's stop at the music store. And none of those things were problematic. None of those things were dangerous. None of those things were illegal or wrong for a teenager to do in any way, shape, or form. But parents have a tendency to be like, oh, they told me that they were going to the friend's house and they ended up at McDonald's and they ended up at the music store. So they lied to me. They're a liar. And you know, quite honestly, it's like, calm down. Calm down. It's not about you. It's about kids being kids and having fun. They need to explore. It's healthy for them to explore, and it's healthy for them to have that spontaneity. So if you track your kid's phone and you don't have a good reason for it, yeah, I think you should stop. It works against your relationship with them. Kids feel punished if you track their phone for no reason. To them, that's a punishment. And if a kid feels like you're punishing them without a good reason, your relationship is just going to go like this. And I know a lot of parents feel justified. Well, I'm worried. That's a good reason. No, sorry, it's not. Um, well, I just need to know where they're going. That's not why. That's not a good enough reason. There's a lot of I've almost never, by the way, found a case where I really believed that the parent should be tracking the kid's phone. It just works against them. There are ways around it too. I mean, if kids want to get away from you or trick you well enough, they'll just leave their phone behind. They're willing to do it. They want their freedom more than they want their phone most of the time. And so they may say, I'm going to a friend's house, and then leave their phone at the friend's house and they're off going somewhere else. There are ways around it. But if you show me a controlling parent, I will show you a sneaky kid. And I've said this to parents before. Controlling parents create sneaky kids, and they think that I'm condoning it or that I'm supporting that. I'm just stating the laws of nature, my friends. That's just how teenagers operate. And if I know that water is wet, I don't get mad at the water for ruining my bugs, because it's just the law of nature. You show me a controlling parent, I'll show you a sneaky kid. And so there are a lot more effective ways to go about this type of stuff, a lot more effective. My models, my therapy models, and my family models and approaches really structure the dynamics around being relationship based, putting your car into gear and getting results with your kid, having a good relationship and having really good outcomes. It often has to do with changing expectations and changing the way that you go about things. And so, once again, I do not believe that it is productive or helpful whatsoever to track your teenager's phone. And so currently, at the time that I'm recording this video, I'm working on getting out my Parenting 4x4, which is a tailor-made program that I have created over the last almost 20 years. It's the approaches that I use to get results out of kids, from kids. And, you know, at the risk of sounding arrogant, I get results. And I've had many teenagers brought to me where the parents said, we have no options. Everything has failed. We don't know what else to do. And I've been able to turn around those kids and those families. And so make sure you like and subscribe and all that stuff. Stay tuned, because I will definitely publish a video when my course on parenting teens, relationship style parenting, and my Parenting 4x4 is published. So make sure you stay tuned. Thanks for watching.